are going to review the Folk of the Air series, and before starting anything, before reviewing, let me tell you this, that I'm 23 years old, and let me tell you how heartbroken I was when I started reading this book, and just a few pages in, and I got to know that the characters of this book were just 18 and 19-year-olds. Imagine my horror that I am 23-year-old and the characters are 18 and 19 here. Yeah. I felt so old. I felt like I could never read fiction like I used to. I felt I'd never be able to enjoy fiction like I used to because the characters are just 18 and 19 and I'm not 18 or 19 anymore. I'm 23. Anyways, let's start the review, I guess. First, let's read the blurb. You'll have to pause the video. For those who don't know, the Folk of the Air series is a fantasy book written by Holly Black, and I've never read fantasy. I mean, as long as I remember, I don't at all remember reading fantasy. And I was not even going to start reading fantasy, but then there's this friend who had introduced me to Wattpad and that kind of fiction. So I actually trust her recommendations a lot, and she recommended me this book. So I bought them the next day. And I read all 3 books in the series in just 5 days because the book kept me glued to it. Yeah, that's it. It kept me glued to it because it is so interesting. You might have understood from the blurb that Jude is our protagonist, and she has a twin sister and one older sister, and she's living with her parents in the human world. Then one morning, this man comes up claiming that he is the father, biological father of the older sister, and their mother had run away from the fairy world, run away from him, and then she got the twins. So he comes and murders her parents and takes all the 3 girls, Jude, her twin sister, and her older sister, to the fairy world, and he raises them, posing as their father. So first, let me tell you how I was imagining all the characters while reading this series. First of all, Jude. I was imagining her as nothing actually. Whenever I was reading Jude and picturing her in action, I was just picturing her figure, but her face was blur all the time. I couldn't imagine her face. I don't know why. I just couldn't put anyone's face when I was imagining her. Then there's Cardan. I imagined Cardan as Lelouch from Code Geass. Here's what Lelouch from Code Geass looks. Code Geass is an anime, my favorite anime, and I love Lelouch, the character. So I was imagining Cardan as Lelouch. Then next is Madoc. Madoc is the one who kills Jude's parents and is posing as their father. I imagine Madoc as Hagrid from Harry Potter. Because that's how the book starts. There's this character who comes up to their door and then takes them to the magical world. So I imagined Madoc as Hagrid, but not for long. I imagined him for some time, and then afterwards, when I came to know that he's the general who fights and who's bloodthirsty and everything, I started picturing him as Windsmoke Judge. I don't know if many of you have reached this part of One Piece. Actually, Windsmoke Judge is a character in One Piece, and I do not want to tell what Windsmoke Judge is or who he is because it would be a spoiler. Then we have Nicasia, and she is one of Cardan's friend, and I was picturing her like Hela from Thor Ragnarok, Thor's sister. I don't know why. That's not even how the author described her, but I was just picturing her like that. I don't know why, but not for long. Again, I started picturing her like Boa Hancock's sister from One Piece. That also, I don't know why. I just did. Then we have Madoc's second wife and Jude's stepmother. I was picturing her as Helena from Ashok Samrat. Ashok Samrat used to be my most favorite Hindi serial, and I loved Ashok from that serial. Then there's a character called the Ghost. He's a spy in the series, and I won't say who's spy because it will be a spoiler. I was picturing him as Pedro from One Piece. Again, I don't know why. Then there's another spy called the Roach, and I was picturing him as Mary from the One Piece. Although the Roach is nothing like Mary. Mary was so simple and kind and everything, and Roach is just so different. I mean, Roach is also good, but he's just very different. Nothing like Mary, but I was still picturing him like Mary. That's it. That's how I pictured all of these characters, and the characters that I'm not mentioning, it's because I didn't picture them at all. Just like Jude, I was picturing something blurred. One thing about this book is I don't know how to talk about it without giving away any spoilers. So I'll try my best to say no spoiler and give a review. First of all, I loved the book. This was something very new to me, and I loved it. I loved the magical world. I loved how the characters were developed. I loved how everything was written, how well written the book was. I loved everything about this book. Yeah, in the middle somewhere, I did feel like, what is the stupidity? But then again, it was good. Everything has a little stupidity in it, and it was very good.
A few moments later.
I've changed my mind. I don't think I'm going to give a proper review of all 3 books, because I do not know how to give review of the next book without spoiling the previous book. I guess I can say that you guys can skip the video after I start reviewing the second book, and then after I start reviewing the third book. For the ones who have just read the first book, you can listen to the review of the second book, but the ones who have not read the second book, please skip this video. And also the ones who have not read the second book and when I'm reviewing the third book, skip it, because I do not know how to talk about it without giving the spoilers. So let's start, I guess.
One eternity later.
Okay, anyways, I'm not giving a proper review. All I'm saying is this is a very good book, and you'll have to read it. By the end of the third book, there's something that happens that is very weird and stupid, and I feel like even if it's the magical world, nothing like this has happened before, and this is something very big. How is this even possible? I mean, that did sound a little stupid, but then again, we were in the magical world. Anything can happen. By the end of it, I did feel like, yeah, well, okay, whatever. The whole book was good, so everything was good. Even if the small thing that happened was weird, it's still fine, because the series is just so good. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about all these books, because I feel like I'm not a very good reviewer to give review of these books without spoiling anyone. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm just going to say that this is a very good magical world, and please give it a try. Try to trust me blindly, I guess, or don't. I don't know. But I've loved these books, and like I said, maybe I'm making this video because I wanted to share how I was picturing all the characters, and I did that. So I'm going to end it here. Bye. If you want, you can just subscribe. This is not how all of my reviews are going to be like. I do give proper reviews. I also have an Bookstagram account where I give proper reviews. You can go and check out my Insta, where I'll try to write a better review for this book, which I have not been able to do in this video. And if you don't want to check it out, then I understand, because not like I've given a good review here, but कुछ बिगड़ने नहीं वाला चेक करने में. Thank you for watching my video. Bye.